This is Nicole Smith, and I'm going to read, to the best of my ability, uh, a little bit of a bio on Nicole, and she's just going to stand there and smile and nod. I think that's pretty much, isn't that right? So
That's exactly right.
I'm going to give you a world-class introduction as we start this entire virtual summit. Nicole is a Panamanian-American single mother, a dancer, a published author, workforce development manager, and a motivational speaker. She attended a Division I university on a full ride track scholarship, something I wished for my entire life, and it never happened to me. But after graduating, she founded her own nonprofit dance organization. Her experience in sports and entertainment and radio and TV and the performing arts has spanned nearly 20 years. She's danced and cheered for 4 professional and semi-professional sports teams. And her heart's desire is to provide others with tools to overcome life's challenges while pursuing their dreams. She is the founder of Game Day Prep 365, designed to aid people along their journey to seeing their dreams come to fruition. Welcome, Nicole Smith.
Hi, how are you? I am so thrilled to be here. So thank you for having me.
Well, the honor is ours. I want to start by just asking you this question.
Okay.
Just reading your bio, there have been some challenges that I know you've had to overcome over the past many years. Just walk us through the last 20 years as briefly as you can, knowing that we only have about half an hour. Just walk us through and just tell us a little bit of your story.
Well, okay. Well, I'm going to start by saying tomorrow is my 44th birthday, and there were many, many days where I never thought that I would see this coming. The last 22 years. All right, here we go. So 2 broken marriages, ending in 2 divorces, raising my daughter on my own. Thank goodness I have a really great support system, but I lived a lot of times out of the same state as my parents did. So I still really had to do a lot on my own. Then let's see, I met the love of my life, and then he passed away from cancer. And through all of that, I was still trying to pursue the purpose that I knew was deep down inside of me. Still trying to overcome self-doubt, feelings of not being good enough, but still knowing that I have something that's deep down inside of me that if I don't pursue it, I'm not going to live a peaceful life, because it'd be like living with regret. So that's 20 years. There you go. Those are all the challenges. That's the challenging part.
And that's a lot of, just half of that, a quarter of that is more challenge than most of us have ever had to deal with. And you deal with it and you keep going. Was there ever a time in your life when you just felt like, maybe a little bit like me, like, what is my purpose in life? What am I leaving? Have you ever had that and had to go through it?
Yes, absolutely. As a matter of fact, that's part of what inspired me to write my book. I was sitting down and I was thinking about literally what kind of legacy am I going to leave for my daughter? Because like I said, as a single mom, I've really been trying to pursue a lot of things, and I really don't have a lot of what the world would consider successful things in terms of material things. So I don't have a big house. I don't have a super nice car. You know, I have a lot of things just that maintain to get through every day. But the things that I do have are things that you can't put a price on. I go to bed every night with peace that passes all understanding. I go to bed with no regrets, because I know I've made quality decisions that have put me in a place that is preparing me for whatever my next is. So I may not have all that material stuff now. And even if it doesn't come, it's okay. Because even in how I refer to it in my book, to win big in life, if somebody's looking at me, they may not see that. But I'm telling you, peace, being able to go to bed and wake up with peace and knowing and trusting in the decisions that you have made, there's nothing like that. People are killing themselves every day because they have all the material things, but they don't have peace. And that's just something that I treasure and that I've worked hard to attain. and wouldn't give it up for anything.
Yeah, too much stuff can really get in the way.
Yeah.
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 Now, when I was reading your book, I got caught on something.
Okay.
Okay. Now, not this past year, but the year before,
Okay.
my wife and two friends, we decided we'd go to a Broncos game.
Okay.
And we went to the Broncos game down in Miami, where where we got beat. The Broncos have been getting beat a lot the past couple of years, so it wasn't a huge surprise. We thought we could beat the Dolphins, but no, we didn't. But I was reading in your book, you said you went to a Miami Dolphins football game and saw something that made you say, and I quote, "I can do that."
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so why did you want to do that? And just tell us a little bit about that journey, why you wanted to do that, and how that's built a resilience into your life.
So I have grown up, like you had mentioned, I'm Panamanian American, so I've grown up with music and dance in my life. So it's just been I've been surrounded by it all my life, and it has been my outlet. So that nonprofit dance organization that I started, basically, we would go into schools and churches and minister through dance, and that was just the way that was my outlet. So I was working my 9-to-5 job, and it was really, really stressful, and dance was dance was my outlet. It was kind of what gave me my peace. It was my go-to to try to get through a rough day. And when I went to the game and I saw the Miami Dolphins cheerleaders on the sideline, I was like, oh my goodness, it combines my love of sports with my love of dance. Why wouldn't I want to do it?
Yeah, and then what?
And then 10 years later, after trying out for the team almost 10 different times, I still never made the team. I've gotten close twice, but that's okay, because the lessons that I learned from getting rejected over and 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 over taught me some things that were so valuable. It gave me all of the content that I needed to help to write the book. It helped me make other teams. It helped me to gain confidence. I mean, because you're literally, when you go to an audition, and a lot of people don't know this, but those girls, those dancers that you see when you go to basketball games at halftime, and those cheerleaders on the side, they make it look easy. People have no idea what it takes and what it, like the amount of work and confidence and all that. I mean, when you're at the audition, you're literally standing in front of people being judged, and all your life, you're like, don't judge people. And you're literally standing in front of people judging you. And just learning how to handle that, learning how to deal with that rejection over and over and over and over. And you either take it and you let it make you a better person, or you can really crumble under it. So I took that, because I used to see so many girls who would crumble under it and would leave with their self-esteem shot out the door. I wanted a way to be able to encourage them to be like, look, this rejection is just getting you one step closer to wherever you are supposed to be. Rejection equals reflection. Look at yourself. What can you do better? Maybe there wasn't anything you needed to be better. Maybe this wasn't just the right team for you. Rejection doesn't always mean there's something wrong with you. It could literally mean it's just not the right fit. So,
okay, what I hear is rejection,
yeah.
rejection.
Yeah.
And yet you've developed within you a resilience. Like, I'm rejected again, so what? I keep going.
Well, yeah, it's so true, because being rejected that many times on the field is one thing. Being rejected by two husbands, that's not the best feeling either. And I remember there was one day I was laying on my bed, and the people who know me, they hear me a lot. I'll be like, oh, I give up. And they're like, oh, Nicole, don't give up. But I don't ever really mean it. I really mean I'm taking a break. But this was the first time that I really, really meant it. I was laying on my bed, and I literally kind of felt like the air just leave just leave my body. Not like I had died or anything, but there was like I could feel the surrender. Like this time I really quit. And I will never forget this day. My mom's best friend, who is she was at that time a high-end executive at a bank in Houston, was in a meeting and left the meeting, and she had no idea what was going on. And she picked up the phone and she called me and she was like, Nicole, whatever you're doing, you need to get your life depends on it. And she was just like, the Lord just put upon me that I needed to tell you this, but I have to go because I have to go back to my meeting. But what she has no idea that that was it. I had lost all hope for life. That at that point, that was the first time I had been rejected by at that time, my husband at that time. I was super young, like maybe 20 or 20, I was done. And that was a pinnacle moment in my life that literally changed my life forever. Just the simple act of sitting up in bed and getting out of the bed and walking to the next room changed my life forever.
That's fantastic. That's absolutely fantastic. The idea that somebody somewhere else just had a sense that they needed to reach out to you.
Yes.
And give you that one little spark of hope.
That's all I needed, just that one little spark, and it changed my life forever. So on top of that, so where the whole resilience part comes in, to me, one of the most important parts of resilience is your accountability, like who you are accountable to. I often compare my life literally to a boxing match, right? You're getting in the ring, you're getting like, life is like beating the crap out of you, right? But what happens in between rounds where you feel like you might want to give up, and you just take that break, right? And you go back and you sit in your corner and you have your team back there saying, you know what, you got this. And they're being honest with you, right? Because I recently was watching a UFC fight, and the guy's coach was like, you have this. You can do this. You can beat this guy. You're not doing what we've practiced. You allowed him to get in your head. Box your, I'm not really good with terms. So you box your match, or how you know how to do it, and you will come out on top. But he was like, you have to change your mind now and make that decision to make it happen. And I was like, that is so powerful. Because literally this guy, he's like bleeding. He's got stuff coming out of his, I'm like, I can't even look. I'm watching it like this, right? Because he's just bleeding and have all this stuff. But part of his resilience, part of him being able to get back up and get back in the fight was who he had in his corner. So all of this, as many times as I've gotten back up, and I know it sounds kind of crazy, and maybe sometimes people might think it's a little over spiritual, but God has really been my accountability partner. On those times when I couldn't get up and I wasn't sure what I was going to do, and just having that still small voice, or having somebody call me, from 3 states over to say, hey, you need to get up, or just sending different people across my path at a certain particular time. So I have the privilege of saying, I had God as my accountability partner, but the interesting thing about accountability partners is they only work if you listen to them. So I could be your accountability partner all day, but if you're not listening to me or taking the advice that I'm giving, it doesn't matter. So even though God was my accountability partner, I still had to listen to him. And it's been a part of that resilience. All those nights when I was crying as a single mom, how am I going to do this? How am I going to get food on the table? I'm tired of being poor. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. How is this going to happen? And then, the proverbial knock on the door and something comes through. So all of that for me was important, because I wanted my daughter to see what it looks like to not give up, no matter what it looks like, no matter how difficult it is. Life, I tell people life is hard. Okay, great. Life's not fair. Great. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's move on.
Let's definitely move on. When you get up in the morning, I know this isn't on the list of questions, but I'm going to go there. When you get up every morning, what do you say to yourself?
I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Not really much. I'm just so focused on what are the things that I have to get done today. And because I still work a 9 to 5 job, I'm getting up and just thinking, okay, list, knock it out. And I have an hour and a half to get it done before I have to drive to work. But throughout all of it, on a daily basis, even though I'm going to be honest, even though I might jump up and I may not necessarily be like, Lord, thank you for the day. But as I'm going through my list, Lord, how am I going to do this? How am I going to get this done? I'm not sure how to do this. I need advice. I need an idea, but it's like a constant communication with God. So it's not like I necessarily have a set thing that I do. I usually get up and hit the floor running. Probably not the best thing to do. But that is what I do. But throughout the whole time, I'm constantly just kind of seeking God and asking him how to get through the next step.
Great. Now, I'm looking through the comments on just a few things. If anybody has a question, drop it into the chat so that everybody can see it. We'll take a few minutes if there's any questions. But I just want to continue with Nicole for just a second, because I mean, you've pumped me up already. I woke up this morning, and doing this summit this week has scared me to death for about 3 weeks now. I've dreaded starting this day, but I've also said, no, we're doing this. This is going to be great. And
well, that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Up and to cheer them on. That's why I'm here.
Now, I know some people in my life, they think cheerleading is just a fluffy thing that people do on the side.
Right.
But it's hard work, and it's dedication.
It is. It really is. Cheerleaders are athletes, professional cheerleaders. They are serious dancers and things like that. But it's so funny because I try to tell people that I'm your personal cheerleader, because I've always just naturally, if you're going through something, I've always just naturally been that person to encourage you. You can do it one step more. Just take it one day at a time, all those kinds of things. So it was just kind of funny that because I was not a cheerleader in high school. I was not a cheerleader in middle school. I was not a cheerleader in college. So it was kind of odd and weird that I became a professional cheerleader in my 30s, by the way, which is also, that's a whole nother story. But it was just always something that was natural to me to cheer people on. And so when I started the whole company of Game Day Prep, that's my whole thing, is like cheering you on one day at a time until you get to where you need to go. Because it is that, and the thing about being a cheerleader is you yourself have to be filled up and ready to be able to help cheer on other people, especially because if you're having a bad day and you're out on the field, you can't be like, oh, I'm not going to cheer you on because you guys are down in the game because I'm having a bad day. You have to learn to put that aside and get it together. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, it was one of those things. And it just kind of, I've also felt that one of those things that really helped me to get through a lot of that is when you don't focus so much on what you don't have and what you're going through and how horrible life is for you, when you take out the time to encourage somebody else, when you take out the time to cheer on somebody else, it uplifts you in the process. And so it was just something that I learned from that. Usually when I'm having a bad day, I almost look for who can I cheer up? Who can I, give some advice to or help them out? Because it pulls me out of my woe is me and just thinking, and getting out of myself. So that whole cheerleading thing for me took on a whole new light.
So we got a couple of questions now.
Okay.
I apologize. I look this way and then I look over here. I got questions over here. I got cue cards over here. So I'm doing 4 things at once, and everybody's listening to you, and that's fantastic. But we do have a few questions. We got one person that just basically said everybody needs a cheerleader, and so
seriously,
you have been you have been our Monday morning. Let's get at it. Let's start this virtual summit cheerleader. What does your daughter? Very briefly, what does your daughter think about you and your energy and everything? What's the legacy you're leaving for her?
Man, okay, so to ask what my 21-year-old thinks, that's a tricky question. I don't know. It kind of depends on the
Fair
day.
enough.
Kind of depends on the day. Um, but I do know that there are many days where she actually has been my cheerleader and has been like, Mom, you got this. Don't worry about it. You can do it. And so I want to believe that the legacy that I've sown into her is being an encourager, even back to myself. And she usually is the one who's encouraging her friends as well. Um, so that's how I would have to answer that. And one last thing that I just kind of want to throw in there before like where time runs out is, even though there were all of these challenges, the things that I want to touch on are, yes, I may have had 2 divorces and lost the love of my life to cancer, but going through all of that prepared me for the amazing person who is in my life now, who I cherish and don't take for granted, because I know what it's like to not be appreciated and have experienced loss. When I have my daughter and I'm having to raise her by herself, and I mean, raise her by myself, and all the different things that we've had to go through, but because we learned to listen to each other, the relationship that I have with her is so great and powerful. And she has seen what it takes to make things happen in life. So she's not frivolous, and she's really going about her own goals. And when she was playing volleyball and the coach wasn't playing her, even though she was probably one of the better players on the team and was working just as hard, but got benched for 2 years, when she went to the next level, she started. So it was like all those years that we had to continue to encourage her, be like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You just give your 100% and your time will come.
Mm-hmm.
All of that thing has come to fruition, but it's that bounce back. It's that resilience. It's that who is in your corner telling you to get back in the ring. All of those things are what is in, because yes, life is going to knock you down, but it's not how many times you get knocked down. It's how many times you get back up. Just want to make sure I said them.
That sounds so cliche, but it's never been more true.
Yeah.
It's just getting back up over and over again. You are the embodiment of resilience when it comes to just about everything. Now we have several questions, and we've almost run out of time because we gotta move on. But there's a couple things that I'm going to do. So I've got to do this. I'm going to drop in a couple of things into the links, just down into the comments. Oops, just down into the comments for people to have. And just so people can share this so that they can join tomorrow. Now, one thing that I want everybody to know is okay, they've heard you and me for half an hour, and we've got 10 more people coming over the next 5 days total. Yes. And I understand that not everybody can tune in at noon every day just to watch this, which would be great, but everybody can get access to every interview, every video, everything that we're doing for the entire week. If you're on this, you're going to get an email later on today with links to this and all of the other interviews that we do today, and it'll happen every day, all week long. So everybody gets access all week long. We will get to hear Nicole again and again and again because it's such a great message. And okay, now I'm going to try something again. Let's see if this works. And again, this is okay. You can connect with Nicole at GameDayPrep365.com. You can check with her. Nicole has a bonus that she's offering, and the bonus I actually have to lift up very high to see this is she's got a Game On playbook that's available. And all of the bonuses are available when you purchase the entire week. And you're not just getting the videos again. And this is commercial time for just a second. Okay. I hope everybody will understand that this is commercial time. You can get those at half price. There's the commercial. You can get those at half price. And this is where you get them. Now, there's a trick to the whole half price thing. And all you have to do is ask, and you'll be able to figure it out real quickly. I'm I'm going to try and share this again. And I apologize, Nicole. You're the first in the group. Things will get better as the week goes by, but we'll just work through it. A complete package of all 12 of us and our stories and our interviews and the bonuses that all of us have can be grabbed right there at billmcconnell.thinkific.com. If you go there, there's instructions. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure if you see. I'm not sure what you see, but there's instructions. There's the site where you go to find it, and there's a 50% off coupon. And if you're not sure how to get that 50% off coupon, just ask. There's instructions there to do exactly that. So I'm not sure how that showed up or whether it didn't.
No, it showed up pretty great. It showed up pretty great. And I also wanted to throw in there that one of the freebies that I wanted to throw in too was a 15-minute coaching session. So if it's something that you need to make a change to get something done, but you're just not sure how to go about it, or you just need somebody who's in your corner,
yes,
let's have a chat about it. And we will have a 15-minute session and kind of identify things and just help you to make that next step. Because I know a lot of times change is scary for a lot of people and it brings a lot of anxiety, but if you don't do something different, you're going to have the same results. And if you're miserable, we need to change that, because you need to leave a legacy of happiness for your family. Because I think I've heard somebody say one of the most valuable gifts that a parent can give to a child is a life well lived and them seeing you happy, because they're going to then learn to achieve and to strive for that as well. So I just kind of wanted to put that out there, because I'm sorry I hadn't talked to you about it before and I didn't send it ahead of time, but I want to make that happen.
That is just a fantastic note to make a transition on. So Nicole,
great.
Thank you so much for starting off our week and giving us the energy and giving us a message that we can just grow on. We didn't get to some of the questions, and I apologize for that. We're kind of working out the kinks, but later on today, everybody that's listening, everybody that's part of joining this legacy of purpose,